Okay, Mary said Catholics say only total abandonment detachment brings peace of soul and mind, similar to most religion thinking. Yes, which is basically detachment basically means wu. In short, in simple term, it's called wu. Don't have attachment. Okay, so thanks, Mary. That's why Tao Te Ching and many other regions seems to be pretty close, but it's not linked at all. Okay, because most religion will tell you very similar things lah. But only one differences. Later on, we'll talk about it in later modules. A very stark difference between Tao Te Ching and religion. Okay, so if you are good with me now with module 1, then type yes in the chat box. Then I know we are good. We can move on to module 2. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Mary. Oops. Thank you, Pepe. Thank you, Jiaxuan. Okay, come, module 2. The way to long-term peace and stability. I think the world needs this right now. The world leader need to read this. The world leaders need to understand this as well. But of course, it's not only applied to world leaders lah, or organizational leaders, even in family as parents, or everyone else. Every single individual should understand this. The way to long-term peace and stability. Let's move on. So we say that Tao Te Ching says that there are 4 major causes that may cause society to be chaotic. And what are the 4 major causes? They are, according to Tao Te Ching, 4 of them. Number 1, fame, Ming. Second is gain, Li. Third is desire, Yu. And number 4 is knowledge, Zi. Also, this fame, gain, desire, knowledge. Interesting. Fame, we know. Gain, we know. Desire, we know. Knowledge is the cause of chaos. This is a pretty interesting point to take note. Okay? Because a lot of people have been telling us, fame, gain, desire, especially desire, is the cause of chaos. In some regions also say that, fame, gain, and desire. But I think not many other religion or any other philosophy will say that knowledge is one of the causes for chaos also. Only Tao Te Ching says that. So let us explore in this module why knowledge is included in these 4 major causes. Okay, let's tie it back to I Ching. In I Ching, there is a hexagram 5 called 水天虚. This is a symbol, 水天虚. It's called needing or desire. 需要的需. Okay, and so the she can mean a desire for fame, desire for gain, or desire for more desires, or desire for knowledge as well. So desire is, one big chunk of it. In I Ching, hexagram 5 is the desire hexagram, right? Now the next one, hexagram 6, needing is hexagram 5. I Ching says in the sequencing order, when hexagram 5 comes on, it will inevitably lead to, if not managed well, it will lead to hexagram 6 called 天水颂, argument. Argument means dispute. If dispute cannot be managed, it become a chaos. Okay, so 5 will lead to 6. So therefore, the desire for knowledge, for fame, for gain, all these things, if not managed properly, will lead to 天水颂 6. Now, this is not enough. Then we need to go back upstream to find out why in the first place there's desire. Okay, Tao Te Ching may not spell it out very clearly, but in I Ching, we see it very, very clearly. Therefore, we need to go upstream in terms of I Ching sequencing, to go to upstream and say, hey, what caused desires? Anybody who attended my AOM series can remember what's the upstream for, before hexagram 5 needing? Anybody can remember? Those who have attended my AOM series, Art of Maneuvering series. Thank you, Mary. You remember. Thank you very, very much. Learning. Hexagram 4. learning, which is knowledge. A lot of us don't fully understand this hexagram for learning. Why? Because learning, let me put it in a blunt way. Let me run through the sequencing, and then you understand why learning is so important, and then why knowledge is part of the major causes of chaos. Learning, if not learned well, will lead to 水天虚 hexagram 5 desire. You desire all the wrong thing. You desire fame, you desire gain, you desire whatever desire. And therefore, or maybe you desire even more knowledge. Okay. And therefore, the hexagram 5 is, if not managed well, will lead to 6 天水颂 argument. And if the argument is not managed well, then you lead on to 7 and perhaps 8. Okay. As we move on from 6 to 7 or 8, it could mean 7, especially 7, is called 地水师. Sư basically means go to war. Okay, go to war. That's why we're having Russia war, Israel war, whatever war is, because it comes out from the upstream is argument first. Cannot manage, then go to war. Okay, and before argument, the upstream is desire for something. Okay, desire for something. And the upstream of the desire is the knowledge part, which is not learned well. Okay, and therefore you see the cascading effect. So therefore, I think in Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu leverage on this few hexagram to come out with this chapter and come out with these 4 major causes. All right. So let's move in one by one and talk about fame first. Mary said biblical story of Eve took the bite of forbidden apple is because she was told she will gain knowledge like God. Oh, desire for knowledge. Oh, thank you very much, Mary, for sharing this. So this is the desire for knowledge. Yeah. Okay, let's go into fame. In Tao Te Ching chapter 3, it straight away says 不上贤，使民不争. Very short and sharp. 不上贤，使民不争. Now, what it means, loosely translated in English, is saying that don't glorify the achiever, so people do not compete for fame. Now, in today's society, every high achiever is being glorified like anything. Am I right to say that? Every high achiever are being glorified to a certain extent. And when other people look at them, they say, oh, I want to be like them. Oh, I have to be better than them. And therefore, each one of them trying to outbeat each other. Now, I'm not saying it's no good, it's bad. Like I say, Lao Tzu is okay with, for example, being obsessed with Guan, but not over obsessed. So same thing with glorifying, but not over glorifying. Okay, 不要大过，不要大过，哈。Like for example here, every year, after the result were out, you find that the Straits Times, CNA, and not CNA, they will come out with glorifying students and things like that, saying that, wow, this one scored 6 distinction out of 8 subjects despite missing a year of school, glorifying. Okay, madrasa students score 9 distinction for O-level and dreams of becoming a doctor, glorifying. Okay, I'm not saying bad, but over glorifying can lead to, parents, kiasu, kiasi. So therefore, have to send their kids to more enrichment classes. All right. So therefore, causing stress for the children and for themselves as well. All right. So, all these things has ripple effect of glorifying high achiever. So therefore, what happened? Because some people know that, parents want to chase after the fame thing. So therefore, we have tuition center where they help the student to cheat. You have chaos already. And the student who accepted the help of this cheat. So what if it's a top scorer after the cheat, with the help of the cheating? Okay, his character is already flawed. So therefore, even though he's a top scorer, for example, PSLE O level top scorer with the help of the cheat, he has that title top scorer. that label 名可名非常名 that label does not reflect who he really is deep inside. So this is the essence of 名可名非常名. Give another example. I think many years back, if you could recall, in China, somehow they glorified a kid to be a very smart, genius person at a very young age. They glorify it. I think this is the one. Yes. Uh, um, he was the China's youngest graduate student and PhD candidate at 16 years old. In 2023, last year, at the age of 28, he was still financially dependent on parent. And that's what might happen to the individual or to people around him, if such thing has been, his achievement has been glorified. So 名可名非常名, just remember this. So Tao Te Ching says that when people strive for over excessive fame and successes, it's going to cause moral decay. Tuition center, they will come in with ingenious, funny, creative ideas to help students to be top scorer. And as a result, it results in a society obsessed with superficial qualities rather than true virtues. So for the students who accepted the help of the tuition center and get top scores, it doesn't really represent who they really are. So in short, in I Ching, hexagram 17, this 17 is called following 水卦, 泽雷水. It says here very clearly in this hexagram, say do not blindly pursue fame. Tie it back to Tao Te Ching basically means 名可名非常名. Do what is right morally right. Okay, that is about fame. Talk about gain, the second one, gain, 利. Gain and power, I think it's about the same gain and power. Tao Te Ching chapter 3, second line, it says 不贵难得之货，使民不为道. 难得之货. Okay, what is called 难得之货? Loosely translated, it basically means this line is actually meant to talk about items. The earlier line is talking about humans, people. This line is talking about items. It's saying that not prizing rare treasures prevents theft and dishonesty arising from coveting valuable possession. Have you seen? I'm not sure. I'm not a fan of like for example, a watch that people say that this is a very prestigious brand, or it can fetch a very high price, so 被炒的啦. So it's that one is called 难得之货. Okay, all these things that by itself is just a watch, or for example a stone, or for example a vase that has been used by, for example, a king in don't know which era. But now there has been glorified to say that now this become a prize rare treasure. This line basically means glorified the items lah. Or earlier line is glorified the person. Okay, so it's called 难得之货. Basically means glorified an item. By itself, it's just a vase. By itself, it's just a stone. By itself, it's just a normal watch. It does the same thing as any other $10, $20 watch, but it fetches thousand, 10 over thousands of dollars. Okay, so it's called 难得之货. So Tao Te Ching say, even to the same, thank you, Carl, La Boo Boo Fever. Thank you very much. Yes, please share your experiences also. Thank you very much. Yes, La Boo Boo. The moment you glorified certain item to become like La Boo Boo or many years back in Singapore, McDonald's, they have this what toys is that become a craze. Everybody queue up overnight, and then they have a fight, and then somehow one of the outlet, the glass door broke. I think injured somebody. Minions also. Yes, Hello Kitty. Thank you, Jia Xuan. Hello Kitty. Yes, this is called 难得之货. So that is why in Lao Tzu era, right, wrote such kind of wordings. 不贵难得之货，使民不为道. 使民不为道 basically we still can understand. It's basically to so that citizen won't become theft. But 不贵难得之货, what does it mean? Basically, now I'm translating into simple terms for you is that don't glorify the item. It's just a stone. It's just a Hello Kitty. After many years, it's just a Hello Kitty. It cannot bring food for you. Okay, of course you can sell, right? But it's just a Hello Kitty. So something like that. So it's not talking about gain, right? It's not to have glorify the item so that people 不会起心动念. People won't want to covet over this kind of items. There are many examples out there. For example, this one in California, masked California thief caught on video brazenly taking dozens of iPhone from Apple Store. Everybody know iPhone fetch very high price. So therefore, when these thieves find there's a chance to go and grab some iPhone, he will do it because he's tempted to do it because there's a desire for the gain. Okay. Lin is asking, Shang in Chinese means glorified. Shang, yes, 不上贤. Shang means glorified. Yes, 贤 means, high achiever. 贤人嘛, 贤人 means achiever lah. Okay. Yes, you are right. Okay, next. Another one. Concerts. Bruno Mars, Taylor Swift, tickets, blah, 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 blah. They glorify these kind of concerts, right? So there will be black market everywhere, ma. And there will be gullible people who will be fooled by the low price offered by somebody. Okay, and they will be, a scam of, I don't know, $1,000 to con man over these kind of tickets. For all you know, after a few days, if you go into YouTube, you could see their concert free, some more free. All right. So what's the difference? I seriously, I'm not too sure. Okay, I'm not too sure. Huh? All right. Then we have relatives, family members fight over a family fund worth millions dollar. This is real true stories. I think this is what I have captured in April this year about a family fighting over family fund because of desire for gains lah. Each one want to have a bigger bite of the fund, so therefore they fight over it. So we have talked about fame, we talk about gain. Now let's talk about desire. Now, desire basically, that's what I mentioned. It can be desire for fame, can be desire for gain, can be desire for desire, more desire, and can be desire for knowledge as well. But for this purpose, when we talk about desire, let's talk about it from a craving point of view, not about craving for what, but craving point of view itself. In chapter 3, the third line, it say, 不见可欲，使民不乱. In fact, the 见 I bracket there 现 okay 现在的现表现的现 so it shouldn't read as 现在 it should read as 表现 so if we reread again replacing the 见 with 现 okay it makes more sense now 不现可欲使民不乱 basically means don't outwardly display desires which may cause people's heart to be confused. Now, I'm not sure how many could understand what I'm trying to say here. Don't outwardly display the desires or glorify the desires so that people won't be confused. A lot of us have this tendency to display our desires, to show what we loved, what we like, and sometimes people did it in very, Hokkien called chupin, very clear that he loved this, he likes this, she loved that, she likes that. Okay, and many years back when I was still in the corporate world, there was this trend many years back. All the management level, they play golf. Every one of them, they play golf. So if you want to be in that group, you have to play golf also. So it's like a entry entry ticket into that group or exclusive group. You must play golf in order to be part of that management team, right? So if you are management, one of the management team, and but you don't play golf, you are outlier. You know, many years back, this was the trend. So therefore, there's a desire, and therefore people who want to desire to have fame and gain, they will pick up golf. But golf is an expensive hobby. You know, some couldn't afford it, but they will still go for it. Show off, thank you. And okay, and then some leaders, you know, they will outwardly, you know, tell people, I love this, I love that, I love cars, I love watches and whatever, you know. So vendors, especially when they are tenders or contracts or whatever, you know, vendors, if they know you love watches, you love F1s, they will go and buy you F1 tickets. They will, you know, send a private jet and bring you over to, you know, wherever you want to go. Why they can do that is because they know your desire, because you have outwardly display your desires. And when you outwardly display your desire, other people will know how to leverage on it. In I Ching, in AOM3, you know, AOM3, I talk about that, you know, don't I also talk about in AOM3 saying that do not really outwardly display your desire, because people will know how to use one of the stratagem to attack you. Anybody can remember those that attended my AOM3 talking about the 36 stratagem? I say don't outwardly display your desire, because people will know to use one of the stratagem to make use of you. Thank you, Jia Xuan. Yes, I wouldn't want to read that name lah. Okay, but everybody 心知肚明 lah. Thank you, Pei Pei. 投机取巧 is called 美人计 lah. In short, it's called 美人计. 美人计. Because you, if I know you like 美人, I will give you 美人 lah. 投其所好 lah. Okay. Next. Now, this is so far I've been talking about that person and saying that that person should not display their desire openly, because otherwise people will be distracted or tempted to take shortcuts. Now let's flip it to the other side. You look at today's society, today's world, today's what's happening around us in terms of the things that we are looking at. TV, advertisement, magazine, social media, you see a lot of this one. 不陷可欲，使民不乱. You find that there are a lot of influencers trying to show off a lot of things, their lifestyle, that they have bought this thing, they have bought that thing. Labubu is also one of them. If you could recall, if you could trace the upstream, is that one of the celebrity show himself or herself with that Labubu, and suddenly Labubu become a craze. This is glorifying the desire that I have it, you should also have it. Thank you, Carl. Carl, you're very updated with a lot of things. Lisa Blackpink. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. And source of temptation. Yes. Also, there are two parts of it. One is you per se, you should not display your desire outwardly, because people will know how to capitalize on it. Another one is you have to guard yourself against all this glorifying of desires. All those social media, those videos and things like that, all these are glorifying desires. You should wear a watch, this brand of watch, if you want to be elite, you know, or you should have this labubu, you know, or whatever. Okay, so all these things, it basically points down to this line number 3. Carl say considering buy labubu but no stock. Ha ha ha. Okay. Okay, so Carl, I can see that you have succumbed to this 不陷可欲，使民不乱. Just joking, yeah. Okay, let's move on. All right, so this is actually talking about golf. So you can see influencer, you know, posting themselves in a very luxurious way, you know, elaborate way to tell people that they're having good life, they're leading good life, they have a lot of good things with them. So the rest who want to be like them should have the same desire. Jia Xuan say, I see people started queuing for Labubu since 8 a.m. at Ion Outlet. Yeah. Because can you see now the effect of this chaos? What do you call it? The four major causes of chaos: the desire. Don't glorify desire. A simple explanation here is basically means, to curb this one is basically don't compare. Don't compare. I mean, we fall back on histogram 8, 易经 histogram 8比过 don't compare，不要比来比去，气死人了。don't compare. You want to compare with yourself with the yesterday you. If you want to compare, really want to compare yourself with yesterday you. Have you improved? Right? So for example, if you want to compare crayon, like you see this example of this cartoon here, a crayon is trying to compare itself with the pencil. And pencil is also trying to compare itself with the crayon. And 气死人 Why? Because the crayon will say, after comparing, I find that I'm not sharp enough. Of course, right, you're a crayon. Okay. And then the pencil, after comparing, also 气死人 and saying that, I'm not colorful enough. Of course, right, you are a pencil. So don't compare. You have your own unique way that is uniquely yours. So don't compare. So everyone, in today's society, everyone is, you can see that, at some point, myself too, is racing against each other on material success, right? So what Tao Te Ching is trying to tell us is don't be a slave to your own desires. Don't live in the world of over obsessed fame and gain. Ultimately, all this will turn to dust. Okay. Moreover, once you manage to come into possession, for example, a Rolex watch or whatever, or that $1 million stone or whatever that they say is priceless because used by don't know who and who and who. When you have that in your possession, then you start to get worried because what happens if thieves get to know about it, they will come in, try to rob and things like that, blah 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 blah. Okay, so yeah, if you can tone down your desire, that would be good. But Lao Tzu never say that it's bad to have needs. Okay, Lao Tzu never say that. So we need to differentiate between needs and wants. In short, called yu lah. So manageable needs, basic needs, Lao Tzu is okay, but not the excessive wants. So Lao Tzu also noted that the fame, the gain, and the desire can never be completely eradicated. If you tell someone, say, you cannot have fame, cannot have gain, cannot have desire, I don't think anyone can do that. Or at some point, you still desire a little bit of fame, a little bit of gain, just to stay afloat in life, and a little bit of desire here and there. Because when you go hungry, right, you desire for food, right? This is absolutely fine. That is basic, right? So not excessive is fine. So Lao Tzu is fine with normal kind of basic fame, gain, desire, but not over obsessive. So how? If cannot fully eradicate, then how should the leader govern and manage, or even for yourself, how to self-manage? Lao Tzu came on to give some advice how to manage these four causes of chaos. Okay. So he continued to say that 是以圣人之治也，虚其心，实其腹，弱其志，强其骨。Basically, loosely translated, it says empty the mind, fill the stomach, weakens ambition, strengthens the bone. Now, this phrase, 虚其心, 实其腹, 弱其志, 强其骨, these are very commonly heard of phrases that people use. If you have followed Tao Te Ching from elsewhere, they always talk about this 虚其心, 实其腹, 弱其志, 强其骨. But basically, what it means, loosely translated, it says, empty the mind, fill the stomach, weaken ambition, strengthen the bone. Hey, if you look at it, basically Lao Tzu is trying to tell us, if we take it the wrong way, it may mean that Lao Tzu is trying to tell us, be a useless person. Am I correct? Empty the mind, enough to fill the stomach, weaken your ambition, best is don't have ambition, and then straighten the bone. So it's like being a useless person. But no, this is, if you have this kind of thinking, then you don't fully understand what it means. It is not about being a useless person. It is subtly trying to tell us to be like water. And when we talk about water, then got to tie back to 易经 hexagram 29 坎为水卦. I'm not going in depth now to talk about this hexagram and the Tao Te Ching part about water. That one I will cover in detail, in depth, because this is a very important hexagram that we talk about in Tao Te Ching. I'm going to cover that in depth in subsequent workshop, not today's workshop. We are not there yet. Huh? Okay, so why I bring this up is to slowly, give a teaser and slowly introduce you into the importance of water. Bruce Lee talk about this water concept a lot. Okay, so basically water, I mean be like water basically means be soft, be wise, yet powerful. Basically this is what it means. So what is Xu Qi Xing? Xu Qi Xing basically means reduce unnecessary wants, bracket desires. Over obsessive want, desire, or lust, remove those. It's okay to have basic needs and slightly above basic needs, which is fine. Slightly basic needs basically means for you to improve further, okay, but not over excessive ones. So this is called 虚其心. So in I Ching, I tie it back to I Ching, hexagram 5, because we're talking about desires, ma. So we go back to hexagram 5, the 水天虚卦. In the hexagram, if you follow me in the AOM series, I think I mentioned that many times. In the hexagram keep on telling us one very important reminder, that is 能要不能要，该要不该要. Okay, I repeat, 能要不能要，该要不该要. So with this in mind, every time you have a wants that comes out, a desire that comes out, that's trying to propel you to do certain things, to buy certain things, to spend money on certain things, you probably can pull back hexagram 5 and say that, hey, 能要不能要，该要不该要. If, just now, Jia Xuan mentioned Iswaran. So let's talk about Iswaran. If Iswaran back then have known about this hexagram 5, 能要不能要，该要不该要, when he was offered the F1 tickets, when he was offered a private jet offer, he would know what to do already. You get my point? This is where Tao Te Ching and I Ching comes in. Very useful, very handy, and it can make or break a person. Right? So for example, take this example. When young, kids do not really know much about desire, don't know much about what is there that the world can offer, right? So what they can want and what they can have or not have. So to them, when they were young, when it's dinner time, it's just dinner time. They won't know about a thing called iPad until the parent introduced them to iPad. And then that's it. Now they have learned hexagram 4 that there is something called iPad. And they has also learned that in order to use the iPad, all they need to do is refuse to eat. Okay? And they will have their dreams come true. They mean an iPad in front of them, served to them. Our parents basically begging them, please watch the iPad and have your dinner. So they learn. And after a while, it become a habit. And after that, it become a very, problematic already. All right. So and say too bad he doesn't know Tao Te Ching exactly. So that is why we have this workshop. I'm sharing what I know, what I understand from Lao Tzu, and I hope you could also outreach, outshare to more people. Okay. So you can see the what call that, the hexagram 4, 5, and 6 playing full out, right? Just using this day-to-day example. Okay. Question so far? All right. So basically, don't take it that Dao De Jing is trying to tell us make people 吃不饱饿不死就好了. When they say that empty the mind, fill the stomach, it doesn't mean this way. Don't take it the wrong way. I know there are people telling me, does this sentence means that just make people 吃不饱饿不死? That is what Dao De Jing is trying to advocate. No. When Dao De Jing say empties the mind, basically means reduce the unnecessary ones. All right. And if you're not sure, then go back to 易经 category 5. 能要不能要,该要不该要. Right? Fill the stomach means basic needs. Fill it. Anything a little bit beyond your basic need is still fine, but not over obsessive needs. So rechannel the rest of the desire to the energy for the desire to something more wholesome. Okay, so the best approach is to lead, for example, in terms of family, your children, is to lead by example, not by instruction. Have your dinner, but at the same time, you yourself, a parent, you watch your own iPad when you're eating. That means you're not leading by examples. Okay, talking about fame. Dao De Jing also have this statement called 为富不仁. 为富不仁 will be covered in later modules, later workshops. But right now, I'm just bringing up as a teaser. It's called wealthy and unscrupulous. 为富不仁. Now, Lao Tzu has nothing against being wealthy. I repeat, Lao Tzu has nothing against being wealthy. So if you are going after money, going after wealth, according to Lao Tzu, it's fine. But just beware what would that wealth make you or mold you into. So Lao Tzu is more concerned about the final outcome, the final product of you being wealthy. Right? So it is the unscrupulous that the Tao Te Ching is targeting at. So it is just that there's a tendency to stray, 虚心, when one is wealthy, and that could lead to moral decay. And we have seen many examples like this, that after being wealthy, it lead to moral decay. One good example, in 2014, many years back in 2014, now this Korean Air, one of the executive, very high executive, I think it's the daughter of the founder of Korean Air, was arrested over this nut rage incident just because one of the steward or stewardess didn't tear the peanuts into a bowl and serve her with that bowl. She flew in the rage and stopped the plane from flying. And because of her action, she was arrested. And then I think now she was not even the Korean Air executive anymore. Okay, so this is again another part of 虚其心 that means 为富不仁. Okay, next. 弱其志，强其骨，常使民无知无欲. Basically means, yeah, it's fine that you have ambition. It's fine, but do not be over ambition. Okay, don't be confronting. Right? Like I say, everybody has his own race. Even countries, they have their own race. They just need to run their own race. Right? If they go on a very confronting kind of competition, then it's actually a lose-lose kind of situation. One very good example, I think you all know, you look at these two pictures, these two symbols, you know what I'm trying to say. There's no lack of people, organization, and country advocating competitiveness to be the number one. So if everybody is like that, then there's bound to be tension, which is happening now. And with Donald Trump taking the lead now, I'm sure this will become more intense, right? So basically means it's trying to tell us, just concentrate on your own race, and we'll have peace and order. World peace, world order. Oops, thank you, Chow. You know who, Okay. All right. So let's move on to talk about the last part, the last cause, major cause, knowledge. Like I said, not many people talk about knowledge being one of the major cause of chaos, but Lao Tzu said that very explicitly. So let us try to understand why Lao Tzu said that. Now, Lao Tzu say, 无知 Okay, 常使民无知无欲. Basically, 无知 doesn't mean naive, doesn't mean ignorance. So Lao Tzu is not trying to tell the leaders to say that make your employees or make the citizen 无知. No. Okay. In short, Lao Tzu is trying to mean 无知 basically means 没有争名夺利的心知. Don't have that mentality to be the hegemony. You get my point. Don't have to hold on to that, or crave for that mentality to be a hegemony, to be the number one, and no one else can be number one, not even two, something like that. So don't go to that extent, and you are fine. That's the meaning of 无知. And when you have 无知, then you have 无欲. All right. So in that sense, then this knowledge thing, this education thing, what should we emphasize on? If knowledge is not to make you better, because when we study for primary school, secondary school, A level, degree, whatever, PhD, whatever, is trying to make us a better person, to make us a more knowledgeable person so that we can do greater things, right? To do greater things, we must have power, we must have authority, so we have to aspire to be the number one, right? We have been conditioned, we have been trained since young to be so. But is this system correct? Food for thought. Food for thought. Is this system correct? Okay, is this emphasis correct? So Lao Tzu in Tao Te Ching trying to re-educate us. So it's tied back to hexagram 4 because we already know just now the upstream of the chaos. It comes from hexagram 4 learning. So when we talk about education, what should be focused on according to Lao Tzu? Lao Tzu say we should focus on 3 areas. Number 1, 传道. Now, 传道 doesn't mean preach philosophy or preach religion or not basically preaching lah. Okay, 传道 basically means is to teach the universal principles behind how things works. It could be that you are learning physics, but you should also be not only learning that E equal mc square or what do you call that, the Newton's law, whatever. You should also know the principle behind all this, right? So it's called 传道. So therefore, when you learn feng shui, when you learn I Ching prediction, I'm talking about in terms of learning metaphysics. When you learn I Ching, when you learn when you learn divination, when you learn feng shui, when you learn life reading, 八字, whatever that you're learning, you are learning skills, which is the second part, the knowledge and the skills. A lot of us forget about the first one, the 传道 part. Okay, the eternal Tao. Right? So therefore, my urge now, I understand where Lao Tzu is coming from. So it's also my understanding also is that, whatever skills and knowledge you learn, you must also go behind the scene and learn the universal principles, why they are there in the first place, what makes them work. And then you understand the skills and knowledge better. Many, many, many years back, many years back, when I was still a struggling learner of metaphysics, I really hit the wall big time. Why? Because I only focus on knowledge and skills. I only go for those shortcuts, techniques, formation, whatever, formula, whatever. But I don't know the Tao behind it, the Tao Li behind it. Therefore, my learning hit a wall big time. Until I met my mentor, who told me that you have to unlearn everything and learn the Tao first. So in fact, that Tao is actually I Ching lah. So I pick up I Ching all over again. I unlearn and learn I Ching again. And from there, when I try to relearn back the knowledge and the skills, everything suddenly makes a lot of sense. And that brings me here today lah. So Lao Tzu says education should focus on 传道, number 1. 授业 means knowledge and skills. And then 解惑, debunk any myth, because over time there will be a lot of 师傅 will try to come out with their own theories, which may not be backed by the eternal Tao, and claim to be that is this is the latest craze you should learn. So there'll be a lot of myth, there'll be a lot of misconception. So if this is allowed to carry on, then everybody will be passing down all the wrong things without knowing that behind those wrong things, there's actually 没有道理的. That's where people can stray and society can go very, very wrong. Mindset can go very wrong. Thinking can go very wrong. Democracy is not democracy anymore, right? So these three things. So what's the difference between su? Su means the second part, su, the 授业, the su, and the 习道. Dao is the number one, the eternal Dao, the 道理 the part. For example, 习术 in terms of technical skills, knowledge, these are like, for example, knowledge, skill, techniques, like medicine, like arts, legal, sport, science, blah, blah, physics, chemistry, bio, all these things, rockets, whatever, professional domain, skills, basis for making a living, basis for distinctive advantage, basis for material satisfaction, all these are technical part. But behind the scene, there are this thing called the 道理. It's the truth of the universe, which is non-religion. Okay, understand the law of nature, understand the source of life, understand the interconnectivity of life and nature, understand the way of nature. When you're backed by all this 道理, and when you learn the technical part, you will fully comprehend and fully appreciate what this technical can do and cannot do, should do and should not do. So therefore, there's this saying in the metaphysics industry saying that nowadays you don't hear this phrase very often already. It's called 有术无道不远. I repeat, 有术无道不远. 有术 means you have technical skills, plentiful of technical skills, all the formula in your hand. But 无道 means you don't know the background, the 道理. 不远 basically means you can't go far. There will be a time where you hit the ceiling and you're stuck. Like me last time, I hit the wall big time. Okay, once you know the Tao, you open up. Basically means you're stepping back, go into the Wu dimension and look back at all your skills that you have. Looks different. Okay, once we bring in the Xi Dao, I mean the number one, understand the principle or the Dao Li behind. This is important, is because Lao Tzu say, once this is inculcate in already, you make those wise, genius, smart person not there to act recklessly. I repeat, 使夫智者不敢为也 is to make those wise, genius, smart person not there to act recklessly. Basically, what it's trying to tell us is telling all of us, including all the world leaders, be a responsible ancestor. I'm serious. I think this is what Lao Tzu is trying to tell us. Be a responsible ancestor. Why? Because today, whatever decision we make, whatever choice we make, whatever thing that we do will have repercussion to the future generation. They have to bear the consequences of our actions, choices, and decisions. For those who do things irresponsibility, that means they are irresponsible ancestors. Right? So starting today, just remember this. Lao Tzu, Tao Te Ching is trying to tell us be responsible ancestors. So you'll notice that those who think they're smart are often the troublemakers. Because they think they're smart, they learn all the techniques, formula, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So they think they're smart, but actually they don't know the 道理 behind of all those techniques and formulas. They may make all the wrong decisions. Examples. You can tell me your examples if you know of any. The inventor who think they are so smart, who invented plastics. And those organizations who make that decision to commercialize plastics. You see what happened to our world today? Can you see that? Smart people invented plastics, but plastic is not natural. It's not natural. 违反了道了. Okay, so these two people could be very smart, but because they only have the skills, the knowledge, but lack the 道理, therefore, we are bearing the consequences of their actions and choices and their inventions. Next, if you know of any more, let me know. Type in the chat box. I saw this. Albert Einstein say this, but I'm not sure whether this is directly from Albert Einstein or not. I'm not too sure. But I just saw this. I said, hey, it makes sense. What it makes sense is that the statements makes a lot of sense, and we can use it to exemplify what Lao Tzu is trying to say. Now, the statement says here, humans invented the atomic bomb. So whoever is the inventor of atomic bomb, this is for him. Human invented the atomic bomb, but no mouse in the world would construct a mouse trap. But we as human, 万物之灵, that means the smartest of all living beings, invented atomic bomb. Okay, so this is the consequences of knowledge. And look at today around the entire world now, the globe, chaos. Everybody threatening to press the button because they claim to have this atomic bomb. Knowledge. So therefore, Lao Tzu, I think, very spot on, even though this was written many thousand years ago, very spot on. 4 major causes of chaos. You look at the Russia-Ukraine war. You look at the Israel war. You look at the US and China conflict. All these are chaos because it has implication. The ripple effect is throughout the entire world. And what are the causes of this chaos? All these four. 找尾相, right? So basically is like what I say once you know the Tao and when you have the knowledge, okay, and you demystify all the myth, then the main purpose is to make those smart elect not to anyhow act recklessly be a responsible ancestor. Okay. So it will be a better world. I'm sure it will be a better world if these 4 sources of disorder are reduced and managed. We can't really eradicate it, right? But if we can reduce and manage it responsibly, I'm sure you can have better worlds. So that is why in workshop 1, right, I ended off to saying that, assistance is the source of all pains and worries. Now, if your assistant is the source of all pains and worries, right? Then Lao Tzu is trying to tell us, if you don't want pain and worry, if you want to reduce pain and worries, right, then we should take one step back and look at the Wu, right? Right? Look at the Wu, right? So just bear this in mind. We'll pause here. Okay, we'll pause here. We'll go for a short break, and then a 10-minute break. After that, when we come back, we will explore again the Wu part. Why? Because we're going into the back end of Tao. Back end basically means the source code to look at the Wu, which is the Tao true origin. Is that okay? Right? I know it's a bit too much to hold in your mind, the entire chapter 3. It's just chapter 3 only, I have so much to talk about. But it's really, really a lot of information. Okay, so we'll go for a short break, 10-minute break. I'll start the timer now. Right? So if you have any question, feel free to type in the chat box. I will address them after the break. If there's nothing else, nothing urgent, so I will start the timer now and I will see you back in 10 minutes time.